Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy. You're about to watch a replay of our Tuesday night Twitch stream, the Million Dollar Mission Week 11 edition, where every week I take a look at my previous week's 150 NFL DFS tournament lineups on FanDuel and DraftKings, and we take your questions live about tournament strategy. In this particular episode, we took a look at the winning Chargers stack and just how popular it was in all different contests. And then we talked about the differences between 3 max, 20 max, and 150 max player pools, stacking, and lineup construction ideas. And then we also talked about bankroll sizes and expectations for profitability over the course of an NFL season. Lots of in-depth, high-level strategy type discussion for NFL DFS tournament lineups, and I think you'll enjoy this episode. So sit back and take some notes.
What's up, everybody? It is Moose and Brian and T Nasty in the chat. What's up, everybody? This is the Week 11 edition of the Million Dollar Mission. What's up, Brian? How's it going?
What's happening, Moose? Happy Thanksgiving week, sir, and to everybody out there. Always one of the better football weeks of the year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Ken subscribed for 8 months. So thank you, Ken. Appreciate that. Yeah, Thanksgiving's always fun, but just like any other week, to the grind. Thankfully, our family is understanding that we need to grind several hours during Thanksgiving. So it's just like another day in the office.
It helps when the rest of our family is grinding their own separate interest in the football games too, if you know what I'm saying. So it definitely helps.
Definitely. Yeah, so we're not here to talk about Thanksgiving just yet, but go ahead and talk about your 150 max lineups from last week. If we jump right into it, we'll take a look at how you did. Starting off on DraftKings. Which one is it? Yep, so on this one, for DraftKings last week, 1927. Whoa. 1297 in entries. 627 in winnings for a minus 52% ROI. I guess you can tell I'm looking forward to that Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, so actually for DraftKings this week, I didn't even 150 max. I just did a 3 max, and I played like 10 different 3 max tournaments. Played a bunch of different satellites and qualifiers. I had a couple tickets I used, but I didn't like any of the 150 max tournaments over on DraftKings, and most of my action was going to be on FanDuel anyway. So just tested the 3 max waters a little bit this week. And but if you didn't have the Chargers 3-man stack, which I didn't have in any of my lineups, likely wasn't going to be a profitable week anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And let's see. What's up, Nitro, Ed, Bismo, Willie Ball? What's up, everybody? And we hop over to how you did on FanDuel. 2615 in entries, 1480 in winnings for a minus 43% ROI.
Yep. So even on the losing week, still a little bit better on FanDuel. So yeah, again, very similar strategy this week on FanDuel with the 150 max and the millionaire, the $9 rush, the $3 snap, just varying levels of entry fees and payout structures. Obviously played some satellites along with it. Got some fan championship tickets. Hopefully, I'm wondering if anybody in the chat, if you're watching this live, has any fan championship tickets, because the 250 contest is going to be here in a couple weeks. So that's super exciting. And Moose, we should have done a lineup review for your lineup, because you had an amazing lineup that actually had a little bit of a sweat in the pooch punt.
I had a great sweat in the pooch punt, and I'll go ahead and I'm not going to show it, but I will at least say what it was. But yeah, I finished 69th, which is #nice, and yeah, I think I ended up. Granted, I lost all my money on New Orleans Showdown, but hey, what can you do, right?
Yeah, I will say, because I remember I looked at your score and I said, oh shit, that would have won like 10 or 15K in the $9, but we both just laughed about it. And I think this is a good lesson for a lot of people, because a lot of times people will say, oh shit, how would this lineup have done in the bigger contest? But like I told you, Moose, right? You weren't going to max the $9. You weren't going to just enter that one lineup in the $9. So it definitely sucks to know that you could have won more money, but when that contest was never in your plans or your bankroll, it doesn't actually matter how it would have fared, because you wouldn't have entered in the first place.
No, not at all. And I do have it here. You want me to show it on screen?
Yeah, if you have your lineup, I think we can talk about it, because it's just a pretty sick lineup, actually.
Yeah, so again, for the record, I do my 150 maxing on the pooch punt just because I want to get better at 150 maxing. So I finished a nice 69th place. This 3-1 Minnesota Dallas stack. It's absolutely crucial. I had so many chances in overtime, but no. Finished
I
like
know.
9 points away from first.
Yeah, if they did, do you have it up on screen, the lineup?
I don't actually.
Okay, either
Oh wait,
way,
I do have it. Oh wait, hold on. Let me get rid of the picture. I'm an idiot. There it is.
all right, cool. So yeah, I mean, your lineup was pretty sick. The three-man Minnesota stack ran it back with CD Lamb, which is a great run back. The Demir Bird, Brandon Cooks mini stack. If you're looking at the lineup builder this week, we got the secondary stack feature all tuned up, ready to go. Aaron Jones I thought was a great pivot at running back, high volume. Got the defensive touchdown from the Browns. Locked in Taysom Hill. Moose, I thought it was funny. You see here we talked about it, on the Saturday show, and we talked about it in literally every piece of content. Lock button Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
33% of people didn't like money in the pooch punt. That was actually kind of the same number in the millionaire. It was Taysom was 67% owned. You look at some of the rush and the other snap contests I was in, it was like 70%. But then obviously I played some bigger single entry and some WFFC qualifiers, and he was like 98%, 99%. So it just goes to show how important he was, and the sharp players obviously knew that.
Yeah, and again, I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but there were some forums out there, #Reddit, and people were like, I'm not even going to play him in cash. And I'm like, thinking to myself, you guys are actually idiots. We're not doing that. But yeah, again, this is where one of those lock buttons worked out. Granted, it's a lot different scenario than a backup running back at min price, or starting running back at min price, but
yeah, we'll rarely get the tight end min price quarterback scenario ever again, but we can at least hope. But yeah, just for the record, he is back at quarterback this week. He's like 7,300. So
yeah.
So however we go with the rest of this, we can talk about my year to date ROI. But again, for those of you watching this live on Twitch, this is a show for you. We'll be here till 10:30, so this is a show for you to ask questions about NFL DFS strategy. And really, you all guide the show. We'll look at what some top players did. We'll look at what winning lineups did. We'll always look at the usual stuff we look at. But really, the best discussions we have on these Tuesday night $1 million missions, and when you guys ask questions that we're not even thinking of generally, but at least a lot of good topics. And so go ahead and ask that in the chat. And also, I know we're going to get questions about this, the Thanksgiving schedule, if you're watching this live. Wednesday afternoon, Chris and I are going to record the Week 12 podcast like we normally do for the main slate on Sunday. The Thursday daily plug, OccupyFantasy.com, will be out Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening for the 3-game slate with showdown notes for all 3 games. And then we'll be back on Twitch Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Me, Moose, and Jack, creator of DFS Magic. Jack has won like 100K total in short slates, 3 to 4 game slates. So we're going to pick his brain about Thanksgiving 3-game slate strategy.
And when is that Thanksgiving slate?
So we're going to do the Twitch stream 10 p.m. tomorrow night, Wednesday.
Cool. Let's see here. As a you'd be proud, I didn't play FanDuel and had 0 Taysom Hill on DraftKings. Now, I was and I've told you about it. I talked in the Occupy staff chat about it. I actually didn't like Taysom Hill on DraftKings, like just because he's not that good of a player, but apparently he's the greatest player ever to live. But I didn't like him on DraftKings really at all, and the only part I played in was in the showdown.
I'm with you. I didn't think I thought he was a good value, like we said, for low risk contests, but at quarterback on DraftKings. But the lack of stacking options is what really threw him off for me. And I guess Michael Thomas got there over 100 yards receiving, but that was literally it. Not much else in that game, and that was kind of my big fear. So, so Helmu's father's asking about the lineup that won the DraftKings Millionaire. So Moose, maybe we go over the fantasy labs really quickly and look at it, because it was a naked Taysom Hill lineup with a 2x1 Minnesota Dallas stack, which again, we're never going to land on combinations like that. You'll see some weird lineups win the Millionaire, especially on weeks where no stacks truly pop off. So I mean, again, that's not something you can worry about. That's not something that's generally a profitable strategy.
Yeah, so Taysom Hill, Dalvin Cook, Salvon Ahmed, Keenan Allen, Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson, Dallas Goedert, CeeDee Lamb, Cleveland defense. Like that's a wild
kind of a crazy lineup. No stacking, little Ahmed at running back. Yeah, kind of crazy.
Yeah, but hey, more power to him. Way to go,
much richer. Yeah, shout out.
Now I actually had a question for you, Brian. And you said on DraftKings today that you only did 3 maxing. And I know 3 maxing is a lot different than 150 maxing. So maybe you can kind of just, for a minute or so, talk about what your process was for 3 maxing versus your traditional 150 max.
Yeah, so it's always a little different, right? It's like I wouldn't even say it's like riding a bike because it's not really because I used to do three max a lot before 150 max, but
Hmm.
it was kind of tough getting out of that 150 max mood. Um, but really, there was three sides of game stacks I really liked, and like we tell people in the Discord when they ask, we're on these shows. I had a core of players around those stacks, and just hope that one of the stacks popped off. And if my core popped off, then I'll have a chance.
Hmm.
So I ran the New England side of the Houston game, which obviously wasn't that great. I ran the Baltimore side of the Tennessee game, which obviously wasn't that great, and then ran Kirk Cousins, which was pretty good, pretty decent. That was the one lineup that cashed of the three, and I had the core of Mark Andrews, Mike Gesicki, Jerry Jeudy, Chase Claypool, underperforming receivers, Aaron Jones, Kamara, Dalvin Cook, basically it. And none of those really popped off, so it was surprising to even get a min cash out of it.
True. Bismo says, can you check Herbert, Keenan, Mike Williams, bring back P. Ryan? Lots of people had the three Chargers and played Duke. When P. Ryan actually did a lot better at cheaper price. So you could have done a 3-2 with Mims and P. Ryan.
Yeah, let's take a look, Moose, at the stack seeker here as we see. And we've seen this before. The Kansas City versus the Jets game. A lot of people three-man stacked the Chiefs and didn't run back any Jets. But again, if the three stack's going to get there, probably one player is going to get there on the other side. So whether that's P. Ryan from the Jets this past week or Denzel Mims, who's going to be underperforming receiver again this week, um, even if you think the team sucks that they're playing against, in order to have that ceiling performance, likely some offensive player on the other side's got to step up.
Yeah, absolutely. So you do that, match it all the way back up with P. Ryan. 56 out of 205,000. So 0.03% did it.
Yeah. What about Mims instead of P. Ryan?
Uh, 0.23%.
Yeah. So not a lot either.
Yeah,
So there you
exactly.
go. There you go.
Yeah. Willie asks, I'm struggling at 20 max showdown. Even when I get optimal captain, my lines are still not producing. Would y'all ever go through a breakdown of a showdown slate? Maybe point out things to work on and incorporate to make those lineups better.
Yeah, we could definitely. We've had a couple talks about this. Maybe we could do a showdown slate live stream or something. It's kind of tough because I don't want to give away like my secret sauce to other people, but we also need to teach people the right way to play. And also, I will say, like 20 max and 150 max, you're going to lose a shit ton
Yeah.
in showdown. Like you're going to lose a lot because the payouts are so top heavy too. Combined with the fact that variance, I don't want to have a cop out answer and say you're going to lose a lot and that's just the way it is. You could certainly learn and have better lineups too. So we'll try to figure out a way to do this for sure.
Yeah, even if it's something like this where we go down and break down lineups after the fact.
Yeah, we could
Pretty
do
cool.
something. Yeah, I can at least like save my lineup sets and rules or something.
Yeah. So we'll help you out there, Willie. Steve's says, based on your risk tolerance, how many weeks in a 16-week season do you need to get a 1% finish to be profitable?
So I need to aim higher for me personally, higher than just 1%. It's got to be GPP wins or top 0.1%, something along those lines. Um, and I think you'll probably see me have really good weeks out of a 16-week season 2 or 3 times, and then I'll have some decent okay weeks once or twice, maybe 3 times, and then mostly losing 50% of my allocation the other 10 weeks or whatever, or 10 or 11 weeks, whatever it is. So that's for me in 150 max GPPs. Um, Now, if you're just playing 100 player leagues and quintuple ups and regular sized high risk contests that a majority of players should be playing instead, then those numbers should be a lot lower, or a lot more frequent, I should say. We have a member I'm actually friends with before Occupy, who exclusively has been playing 100 player leagues this year and has won, I think, has had profitable main slates 3 or 4 times. But kind of similar to me, losing a lot, but then the wins have outweighed the losses in high risk. He's purely a high risk player and is okay with his small bankroll that he's using. If he loses, he loses it, but he wants to try to double his money or grow it. And has had 2 or 3 player league wins
Mm,
and is now up 2, 3 times his bankroll on the season. And that's something that I think that's very achievable and attainable for a lot of players.
absolutely, yeah. And real quick, I know we like to go over it, but show over your year to date real quick. So 35, a little over 35K in entries, almost 93K in winnings for 163% ROI. And if we look at it in chart form, thank you, Bismo. You see, starts off crappy, I still don't know why you play the first 4 weeks.
I promise. From next year. Well, I mean, I probably will still play, but I'm gonna at least lower my allocation next year.
Yeah. Then it spiked up a little bit, down, 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 and then you had your major spike, down, down. So, yeah, you pointed out, it's down,
So
down,
generally,
down,
generally like 3 to 4 weeks in between spikes. So maybe one more bad week here, and then week 13 will spike again. But honestly, I'm hoping just for a couple bad weeks here in a row, and then spike in week 15 for the fan championship.
That would be sick. So,
yeah.
Yep. So let me go ahead and get that off. We'll go back to Fantasy Labs here. A couple questions in here. Let's see. Ed says, this is what I want to hear. The difference between 320 max and 150. Main difference in QB, defense, running back exposure between 320, 150 builds.
Yeah, so the biggest thing, if we're looking at 3 max, right, you have to have a core. Guys, you have in either 2 out of 3 lineups or 3 out of 3 lineups. Generally, for me, it's going to be underperforming receivers. It's going to be high volume running backs. And then I'll stack around them. The other approach is, let's say you really love one stack. Let's say this week you like Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, and you like running it back with Keenan Allen. I think that's the stack this week. I think they're playing. You can run that in your 3 max and then rotate your underperforming receivers and core players and your running backs around that. That's another option. But basically, it's having a core and then rotating stacks or players around it. That's 3 max. 20 max is similar to 150, but a much more pared down player pool.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's see here. How many follows says in big field GPPs are there conditions you look for in order to not run back a player, or is it just luck?
Nah, man, very, very cookie cutter approach for me. I'm always running 3x1 stacks, unless it's a 2x1 and it's like a running quarterback, Kyler, Lamar Jackson, something like that, Cam Newton. But yeah, just it sounds boring, but that's the profitable approach. Some weeks it's not going to hit. That's how it works. But if you just 3x1 stack over the long haul, you're going to be profitable until the game changes. And the game hasn't changed for the last couple of years. And as we see every week here, Moose, as we point out these stack percentages, the game still hasn't caught up. So we're going to continue this cookie cutter approach and hammer out the optimal lineup constructions.
Absolutely. KY says, were you picking a lot of scrubs to get that 88 unique? That was such a sick number in Showdown.
Yeah, so that was Monday night.
Consistently.
Yeah, so I'm generally in that 60 to 90 unique range out of 150 lineups, which is pretty crazy if you think about it, considering Showdown's gotten a little bit sharper this year. But no, I'm really good with my salary usage. I make a ton of rules to make sure I don't have duplicated lineups. I go back and review my lineups that are near the top of the salary range. So if I set a max, let's say 49K, I go back and check my 49K lineups to make sure I have at least one low-owned player or some weird aspect in that lineup. But no, I'm not using like a ton of the scrubs. I had like 5% Van Jefferson and 2 or 3% Shady McCoy or something like that. And honestly, a lot of those didn't really contribute to the uniques.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as you point out, salary is pretty much the biggest thing. Jalen says, what's your biggest GPP Showdown secret that you want nobody to know, including Moose? Should I take the headphones off for this?
I mean, we'll just keep it basic. You're probably using too much salary. That's for me, for my unique. Like, you're probably using too much salary. If you're not playing 150 max GPPs, that's not the answer. So it's really from what I do for 150 max. If you're playing 20 max, making single lineups, use the model and recency bias. We saw Ronald Jones last night. We talked about him being super higher owned because of the recency bias. You can use that to your advantage in Showdown.
Yep. Ed says also, in regards to your starting bankroll, do you just let your bankroll up all year, or is there a set amount of money you pull out? Unless I bink, I just leave it all in there and play until I inevitably have to deposit.
I mean, I personally don't want that amount of money just in FanDuel and DraftKings just for I don't know, just personal security. But I have a set amount in different accounts, bank accounts, and set amount in my head, and my tracking that I have. And yeah, I'll add or take away depending on wins, losses, if I need to pay for something outside of DFS or whatever it may be. But yeah, I have a set number in my head and I keep track throughout the year, and that goes up and down based on wins and losses.
I will say, just to flex, is that ever since I won that free survival back to back, that free survival for like $200, so I've deposited. Let's go.
That was pretty sick. You turned the free roll into $200 like the ultimate Occupy story. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about. I don't know if people would be interested in this, Moose. Tell me what you think of this idea. I can't do it on FanDuel or DraftKings because I'm too rich apparently. I can't enter the smaller contests. But something like Yahoo maybe, and just starting January 1st, do like a $0 to $10,000 bankroll challenge and see, and then kind of blog every week and see if I can turn $0 on Yahoo into 10K by the end of the 2021 calendar year.
That would be pretty sick, actually. Just
Because I
play
think it would
straight
be
free rolls.
Yeah, play free rolls to get started, and I think it'd be cool in like contest selection, bankroll allocation to try to do it. So I think people could learn from it.
Yeah. Business says, fuck it, let's do it.
All right, sounds good. I'll plan that out for January. I can't do it on FanDuel or DraftKings because I can't freaking enter less than $3 contests. So it'd have to be Yahoo.
How
I know,
rich.
bullshit.
So we're here for 10 more minutes. If you have any more questions, great questions so far, guys and gals. Let's keep them coming. One thing we'd like to look at, Brian, is the duplicate lineups. Let's see here. If we sort by the number of users, of course, the Taysom Hill quarterback lineup was the most duplicated in terms of users.
Of course it was.
Yeah, followed by Joe Burrow. The Joe Burrow one kind of threw me off for a loop there.
Yeah, that game. I don't know. Can I see that lineup? Because it had Joe Burrow, Gio. Who else was in that lineup? That second lineup. I'm trying to look here.
Let's see. So it was Joe Burrow, Kalen Ballage, Bernard, Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, Adam Thielen, T.J. Hawkinson, Hunter Henry, Cincinnati defense.
So a double tight end. That just must have been a weird optimizer lineup or something.
Yeah.
Double tight end, triple Charger stack, no quarterback, and it was run like 300 times. So that's cool.
It only ran 50 times.
Yeah.
Only ran 50. But the whole quarterback, running back, defense stack, you don't see that very often.
That's maybe the worst line I've ever seen duplicated. That's saying a lot because we've seen a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking a look at some of the salary distribution. Again, something we like to look at. 46% of the entries use the full cap. Basically, like 90% use under 500. So, yeah, I set my minimum to 49.5 if I'm playing. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I mean, I'll set it for 49 and then adjust afterwards. But yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
But Thanksgiving, however, and we'll talk about this on Wednesday's stream. There's literally no, like, salary doesn't matter. It's like beyond Showdown. It's like League of Legends style. Showdown, salary will not matter for Thursday's 3-game slate. Fingers crossed we still get a 3-game slate with all the COVID shit going on.
Jack and I were actually talking before this, and he was like, I literally have a lineup that has $5,000 left over, and I'm okay with it.
I believe it. Like, a lot of the cheaper players can be the highest scoring player at their position on Thursday, so I'm interested to talk with him about that.
And it says, so speaking of your challenge, you do that, and I'll turn 1K into 0 and see who gets there quicker.
Yeah, just pile on those 3-3-3 stats, and you'll be there in no time.
Yeah. And then let's take a look at position usage, where it is 53% used a wide receiver and flex, 40.5% used a running back, and 6 used a tight end. So interesting there.
Yeah. Let me see here. I think, you know what, if you go to, I think it's always interesting. Niramata does this with PGA, but I think it's something we could do here. Kind of see who the quote-unquote sharpest plays were on DraftKings this week. If you're on Fantasy Labs, Moose, and you go to the NFL tool and you go to ownership.
All right, let me refresh this then. NFL, and you said ownership?
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this.
I guess it just shows. I guess I can just sort by
volatility, and it shows who the highest or like there's the sharpest, quote unquote, sharpest plays were.
All right, so the volatility is the difference between ownership at various stakes. So Logan Thomas leads this. I hope Chris is in the chat somewhere.
Yeah.
20% in the 4-4-4-4 versus 16.6 in the $9.
Yeah, so Logan Thomas, Dalvin Cook, Miami defense, Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, Taysom actually, Hawkinson, Jacoby Myers, Kalen Ballage, Adam Thielen, all some of the sharpest plays of the week. What if you sort the other way? What are the squarest plays of the week last week?
Let's see here. And Chris is absolutely legally dead every time Logan is mentioned. Yep. Antonio Gibson, Hunter Henry, Eric Ebron, Juju, Chubb, Fuller, Watson, Roethlisberger, Pitts, Tyler Boyd, and Michael Thomas.
Interesting. Henry, Ebron. I'm surprised Gibson was, but I guess I don't know. I'm not sure what to say about that. Juju, Nick Chubb, Fuller. Yeah, I don't know what to make about this list. Something we'll have to look
And
into.
that was kind of interesting where Michael Thomas is on, you said, the quote unquote square side, but Taysom was on the sharp side.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that, to be honest, if we're being truthful here.
Yeah.
Something I don't know. Ed says, when are we setting up that Nova meetup? As Ed asked in the middle of a raging pandemic. Ed, once COVID's over, we'll have an Occupy meetup for sure.
Definitely. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Bismo says, it's come to the point where my significant other asked what I want for Christmas and asked for a single bullet stake in any DFS GPP.
Yeah, that's a great idea, right? Give me a spy entry. Give me hell. If you really like me, give me a fan championship ticket. Let me know.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, it's better than probably a gift that you'll get and you're like, damn it, I don't even know where to put this in the house.
I know, another T-shirt. Seriously, nah, give me that fan championship ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. DraftKings would be so sick if they had like gifts where you could just give somebody something.
I know, the tickets. It would make our members contest a lot easier. I'll tell you that. We are, by the way, we haven't officially announced it yet, but why we have everyone here on stream. We are officially going to do the Tournament of Champions for Occupy Fantasy members leagues. So the first 17 weeks of the season, all the regular season, every single winner from the members contest will be entered into a special invite-only tournament during Wild Card Weekend. And so that'll be 17 winner take all, and the winner's going to get a sick prize. Let me tell you this. So you guys if you haven't qualified for it already, if you haven't won the members contest yet this year, you got 6 more weeks. So get on that. It's free to enter, and you get a $100 ticket to win, and you get entry into the sick Tournament of Champions contest.
Which I will say, if you win that Tournament of Champions, potentially life changing.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty sick. I'm pretty pumped for it.
Yeah. What's up, Spiral? He said I turned $10 into $62 in 2 weeks. Pretty happy about that. That's awesome, man. That's really good.
That's great. I mean, 6 times your money is ridiculous. That's so good. Keep it up, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I throw the $1 million logo on, we got a couple more minutes left. Let's see here. S says mine just told me she's filing for divorce. Basically, no more. Ooh, that's not. Yeah, that's definitely not good.
That's why Lorcan says divorce definitely minus EV.
Yeah. Kobe, we've been asking about the members contest for the Thanksgiving slate, and we're not doing that, right, Brian?
Yeah, no members contest for the Thanksgiving slate. We got enough money to lose otherwise, so we'll be back on Sunday with the members contest.
Yeah. So any last lingering thoughts you want to point out or talk about, or if you guys have any questions, put them in before we get out of here.
Yeah, 3 minutes. So just again, quick reminder, if you're watching this before Wednesday evening, Wednesday we'll drop the daily plug for Thursday. It runs team by team notes, talks about classic 3-game lineup strategy, low risk and high risk contest, individual showdown strategy and player pools for each game on Thursday. That'll be out Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday afternoon, the Week 12 podcast with Chris is also going to drop. And then Wednesday night, Moose and I will be here with Jack discussing 3-game slate strategy and stacking options. So I'm looking forward to picking his brain because the dude is a beast at small slates.
Absolutely nutty. Yeah, so the model's up, so if you want to go ahead and check that out, go check that out. But until then, I guess if no one else has any other questions, yeah, I guess we'll get up out of here and we'll see you back tomorrow. And yeah, so tomorrow at 10 p.m. I guess I'll
Peace.
see you guys later.